The lights inside the CNN studio glared with the precision of a seasoned production team, illuminating every polished surface. At the center of it all sat Kaitlan Collins, a 31-year-old rising star of broadcast journalism, dressed in a navy blazer and exuding the confidence of someone used to steering interviews. Across from her sat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the poised and formidable 43-year-old Democrat from Texas, her burgundy blazer and elegantly styled natural hair making her presence magnetic. The segment was billed as a routine discussion on congressional investigations, just another Tuesday night on the Source with Kaitlan Collins. But that illusion shattered almost immediately. Collins, known for her sharp questions and no-nonsense tone, leaned forward and launched what sounded less like an inquiry and more like an indictment, questioning Crockett's qualifications to speak on complex legal matters. The studio froze. Producers, crew, even the air itself seemed to pause. Crockett's minimal reaction, just a narrowing of the eyes and a calm, silent lean forward, signaled not retreat but calculation. Collins, misreading the silence, escalated, pointing to Crockett's limited legislative history and questioning her constitutional authority. But what Collins failed to anticipate was that she wasn't confronting a novice. She was challenging a seasoned trial attorney and legislative fighter. In her attempt to provoke a viral moment, Collins had unknowingly lit the fuse to a rhetorical demolition. And Crockett? She hadn't even begun to swing. In the moments following Kaitlan Collins's pointed attack, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch or rush to defend herself. Instead, she leaned back, folded her hands, and calmly asked, "Could you repeat that?" The chilling calm in her voice wasn't passive. It was surgical, honed from years of navigating courtrooms and legislative chambers where she was often underestimated. Collins, mistaking that composure for uncertainty, doubled down with sharper barbs about Crockett's seniority, legal background, and political rise, layering on a condescending critique designed to erode credibility. But behind Crockett's stillness was a storm quietly building, one shaped by experience, resilience, and the keen awareness of a familiar playbook. Undermine the resume, question the legitimacy. Crockett didn't bite. She waited, letting Collins walk deeper into the rhetorical trap. When she finally responded, it wasn't just a shift in tone. It was a seismic power reversal. "Are you finished with your questions?" she asked, her voice cool and unwavering. With that, the studio dynamic flipped. Collins hesitated, her earlier confidence cracking, while Crockett began what can only be described as a cross-examination. She laid out her credentials, her law degree from the University of Houston, over 15 years of real courtroom experience, and a legislative record with signed bills and policy wins. No theatrics, just facts. Her delivery was methodical, each point landing with the weight of earned authority. As Collins glanced at her now irrelevant notes, it became clear. She was no longer leading the conversation, she was answering for it. The CNN set, once a stage for media bravado, had transformed into Crockett's courtroom, and she was delivering a lesson on law, leadership, and the cost of underestimating the wrong woman. What followed Kaitlan Collins's ill-fated line of questioning wasn't a rebuttal. It was a dissection, delivered with chilling precision by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Shifting from calm defense to surgical offense, Crockett took control of the room, her voice measured and her words weaponized. "Where did you study law, Ms. Collins? How many court cases have you tried? How many bills have you written? How many people's rights have you defended under the Constitution?" Each question landed like a gavel strike, each pause meticulously timed. Then, without theatrics, Crockett opened a folder. Unexpected, deliberate. From it, she read legislative records and case files. House Bill 186 on bail reform, House Bill 2754 on expungement access, House Bill 1188 targeting appearance-based discrimination. Each document was not just evidence of her experience. It was a methodical dismantling of the narrative Collins tried to create. And then came the line that ended the debate. You questioned whether I'm qualified. So let me ask you, who appointed you the arbiter of qualifications in this democracy? The studio went silent, absolutely still, as if everyone sensed they had just witnessed something historic. Collins tried to recover, muttering about journalistic duty, but Crockett cut in razor sharp. What you did tonight wasn't journalism. It was an ambush, and I came prepared. With that, she stood, gathered her materials, and delivered the final blistering blow. Next time you want to question someone's qualifications, I suggest you start by examining your own. The interview was over, but the story was just beginning. Within minutes, social media ignited. Hashtags like hashtag Crockett demolishes Collins, hashtag qualified queen, and hashtag lawyer up were trending globally. TikTok edits layered Crockett's takedown with Succession-themed music. Memes exploded. Collins labeled confidence at the start, regret at the end. One viral post summed it up. If you come for the queen, you better not miss. Collins missed by miles. Civil rights attorneys, late-night comedians, even political opponents weighed in, many agreeing. Crockett didn't just defend herself, she redefined the space. A conservative commentator tweeted, politics aside, that was a masterclass in preparation versus performance. But the most resonant responses came from Black women across the country. One young lawyer's video went viral. She didn't just defend herself. She defended all of us who've been underestimated. By night's end, millions had watched, reposted, and dissected the moment. What started as a typical interview became a cultural flashpoint. In its aftermath, the internet crowned Jasmine Crockett a new political icon, and turned Kaitlan Collins into a cautionary tale. As the explosive clip of the Collins-Crockett showdown ricocheted across the internet, mainstream media had no choice but to follow the digital shockwaves shaking the political landscape. Newsrooms scrambled to catch up, headlines blared. Congresswoman Crockett dismantles CNN host in live interview. MSNBC, ambush backfires. Collins outclassed in viral exchange, The Washington Post. And when the interviewer gets interviewed, CNN's moment of reckoning, Politico. Even Fox News, typically hostile to Crockett's politics, aired the clip uncut, with primetime hosts grudgingly acknowledging, "We may disagree on policy, but that was how you handle an ambush." Comedy followed swiftly. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert reenacted the exchange with courtroom lighting and biting satire. Kaitlan Collins challenged LeBron to a dunk contest, but forgot she was 5 feet 2 inches and wearing flip-flops. Saturday Night Live turned the moment into a cold open, with the skit becoming one of the season's most viewed clips. International outlets weighed in too. The BBC called it a referendum on performative journalism, while Le Monde dubbed it the Crockett Doctrine. But the impact didn't stop at headlines and laughs. It rippled into academia and professional circles. The Columbia Journalism Review published a damning critique of Collins's performance, citing it as a textbook failure of preparation disguised as journalism. The National Bar Association praised Crockett's poise as a case study in ethical self-advocacy, and law schools from Harvard to Howard began showing the clip in media and law ethics courses. The memes poured in, Crockett holding a gavel captioned, "Objection sustained. Sit down, counselor." Collins staring at her notes with the word loading icon, and Crockett strutting off set, sunglasses superimposed, with the final burn, asterisk, "Still think she's unqualified?" Asterisk, the media response transcended political lines. Journalism schools updated curricula. Advocacy groups raised funds. Corporate leadership seminars cited her as a model of composure under pressure. Meanwhile, Kaitlan Collins became a cautionary tale. Proof that chasing a viral moment without the preparation to back it up could cost more than a segment. It could cost a reputation. Before the interview, Jasmine Crockett was a respected but relatively niche figure in national politics, a sharp legal mind and rising Democratic voice. After, she was a symbol, a force. Her social media exploded with over 200,000 new followers. Invitations poured in from top law schools, civil rights groups, media panels, and publishers. Rumors of a memoir began to swirl. Documentary producers pitched her as the face of modern political readiness. And unlike typical viral stars, Crockett's influence didn't fade. Her committee appearances drew higher ratings, her policy proposals got traction, and national journalists like Anderson Cooper and Rachel Maddow now invited her not to defend her qualifications, but to share her insight. Suddenly, she wasn't the woman being interrogated. She was the one shaping the discourse. Speculation mounted. Was she being groomed for statewide office in Texas? Could she chair a major House committee? Was this the beginning of a presidential-caliber rise? Time would tell. But one thing was clear. Jasmine Crockett didn't just survive a media ambush. She transformed it into a national elevation. Not by shouting, not by performing, but by doing what so few can, raising the bar and standing on it. As Jasmine Crockett's star ascended, CNN found itself thrust into the glare of the very spotlight it tried to control. But this time, for all the wrong reasons. What was meant to be a sharp, prime-time interview spiraled into a case study in journalistic collapse, forcing the network to answer uncomfortable questions. Was the segment properly vetted? Why wasn't Kaitlan Collins prepared? How did an unsubstantiated ambush air live on national television? Internally, tensions erupted. Senior producers were reportedly blindsided by the backlash, with sources describing a newsroom in damage control, already fraying under political pressure and public mistrust. Veteran journalists began speaking out. "We are not here to manufacture conflict," one longtime CNN producer told The Intercept. "We're here to inform." The Columbia Journalism Review didn't hold back either, calling the interview a betrayal of journalistic ethics, the kind that drives viewers away for good. Journalism schools moved quickly to include the exchange in course syllabi, under titles like Accountability versus Ambush, How to Lose Control of Your Own Segment, and Asterisk, When the Interviewer Gets Schooled. Asterisk, meanwhile, professional organizations weighed in. The Society of Professional Journalists condemned performative journalism, while the National Association of Black Journalists called for better interview training and editorial diversity, citing ongoing patterns of disrespect toward Black women in politics. Kaitlan Collins, under fire, attempted to salvage the moment with a late-night tweet. Asterisk, "I ask tough questions. That's my job." Asterisk, but the public wasn't buying it. The replies were ruthless. Asterisk, "Tough questions require facts, not assumptions." Asterisk, asterisk, "You weren't a journalist. You were an unprepared prosecutor." Asterisk, asterisk, "Crockett brought receipts. You brought vibes." Asterisk, even within CNN, anonymous staffers admitted the truth. "We chase ratings. But if that pursuit kills our credibility, then what's the point?" Collins followed up days later with a defensive segment trying to justify her approach. One quickly dubbed online as asterisk Collins' second mistake. Asterisk, the fallout forced a deeper reckoning across the media industry. Institutions like the Poynter Institute published investigative retrospectives, and journalism think tanks convened panels asking, "In the age of virality, have we forgotten how to be reporters?" The contrast was undeniable. Jasmine Crockett came prepared. Kaitlan Collins did not, and millions saw the difference. Weeks later, the moment still resonated. The Columbia School of Journalism launched a seminar titled Asterisk, Preparation versus Performance, The Ethics of Interviewing in the Viral Age. Asterisk, the Poynter Institute's report, When Ambush Journalism Backfires, became required reading. The American Bar Association hailed Crockett's composure as a model for dismantling bias with evidence and dignity. Professors across law and media programs began referencing the exchange as a modern masterclass. And while Crockett's profile grew, she remained grounded. In an Essence interview, she reflected, asterisk, "That night wasn't about me versus Kaitlan Collins. It was about preparation versus assumption, substance versus spectacle. I didn't win because I was louder. I won because I knew my work. Asterisk, her advice to the next generation echoed powerfully. Asterisk, do the work. Know your stuff. Stay calm. And when they try to tear you down, make sure you've already built your foundation. Asterisk, that message stuck. For every student dismissed for their background, every young black woman told to wait her turn, every professional underestimated in the room, Jasmine Crockett's moment became more than viral. It became a blueprint, a moment of cultural clarity, a case study in what happens when integrity meets preparation, and walks out the door unshaken. As for Kaitlan Collins, her name became a warning in newsroom halls and media ethics lectures. That ambition without research is a gamble, and in the age of instant replay, a spotlight can illuminate or expose.